Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Mosia from Symmetry Acoustics. In this episode, we want to focus on acoustic panel placement. Where do we need to place our panels to be able to get the most out of them? So throughout the video, we'll be using this render here. This render is a typical setup of most home studios. It's a small room, 9 feet by 12 or 13 feet roughly. It has nothing on the walls yet, no treatment. So you can imagine how echoey this room is. A lot of reverberation time inside here. So we want to place our panels strategically to be able to tame those reflections and get a more balanced sound within this room, get good stereo imaging from our sitting position, as you can see. I just reduce general echo and achieve clarity for our mixing, mastering purposes, if you will. So before we mount any acoustic panels on the wall, we need to map out the exact locations where the panels will go and where they'll be most effective. We'll be using these arrows to show direct sound and reflected sound, and that will enable us to know exactly where the panels will be placed. Starting with the direct sound, that is the direct sound of the speakers. Also, that's a direct sound. That is a reflected sound of the left wall. That is a reflected sound of the right wall. That is a direct sound toward the back of the wall, as shown. And also that is also a direct sound from the left speaker towards the back of the wall. So as we continue, you can see that these two green ones are the direct sound that we are supposed to receive of the monitoring system. But that's not the case because of the reflections coming from the side walls and the back walls. Now that's the reflection from the back wall, these two, coming back to our ears. So we're not really getting exact sound from our speakers. It's mixed up with some interference from the reflections. And then we have direct sound hitting the wall. And also this one behind the speakers will be coming back to our ears. Only that is not shown in the render. We have the direct sound from the monitoring system behind it, going to the wall and then coming back to our ears. So now that we've seen how the sound travels with respect to our sitting position, we'll start placing our panels from the first reflection points. That is our first reflection point from the left speakers. We place our first panel there and the second panel there. We'll be able to control the reflection that hits that area, which is okay. And then as we continue going, we can increase panel depending on our space. The more coverage, the better. And then also, before we go into the secondary, we'll have the right side. And behind the speakers, we need to have some panels behind the speakers. So we'll be placing our panels accordingly to be able to tame those frequencies, reflections of those surface areas. So already we have panels behind the speakers on the left wall. We continue to place our panels strategically. We do not have the carpet yet, so we'll change that later. These are still our panels, and we also have some corner bass traps there to be able to minimize the room resonances. So you can see that we have panels on the right side, reflection points. At the back of the wall, we still miss some panels which we are supposed to mount. So we have fully treated room. As you can see, we have behind our speakers, we have acoustic panels there. We have acoustic panels on the right wall and on the left wall. We also have the acoustic panels behind us, behind the couch, and that will take the reflections of that area, so that what we remain with is this. We will not have this one. We will not have this one. And we will minimize this one also. So what we have is direct sound directly from the speaker. So it doesn't matter the type of panels you're using, so long as a sound absorbing panel. It could be foam panel or fabric panel. I was forgetting about the carpet. Also, we need to place a carpet here, down here. This here is our carpet. So for someone starting to treat their studios, this would be the best possible approach treat the first reflection points behind the speakers and secondary reflection points. These are secondary reflection points. You can treat secondary reflection points in this area. And then you have the back wall. And then you have these corner broadband absorbers. These ones will absorb frequencies from 100 hertz going upwards, so they will not work below 100. If your case needs management of frequencies below 100, then we can design a different product for you to be able to tame those ones. But these are typical case of home studio setups. These should be able to just work perfectly fine for those who are on budget, that is. So this is it, guys. Thank you for watching.